I forget if I've made this video, but sometimes you don't even have to curse niggas out. You just have to go quiet. The best luck I have had sometimes in dating, like, it's funny, even niggas who haven't inherently given a shit about me, because they know I'm a yapper. They know that I love to talk and love to sing, and, well, I usually don't sing around them, but they know I'm a usually pretty cheery, chippy, open person. When I get quiet, niggas get terrified, because they don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do next. I remember once this dude openly pissed me off because, like, we were at his house just talking, eating cake, and then out of nowhere, instead of saying, hey, we really gotta go, it's getting late, I would have went, oh, yeah, of course, and packed up the stuff. But instead, he decided to yell, whoa, wait, no, we gotta go, it's way too late, what the fuck? And I just looked like, no, we gotta wrap this up. And I just looked at him, I put down my fork and said, you don't have to talk to me in that way. You could have just said that quietly, and I would have packed up. No need to yell. And he sort of said sorry, but I just kind of thought, okay, you know, he killed the entire energy, because right before then we were telling stories and joking around and shit so much and had fun that we lost track of time. So then, like, the whole time in the parking lot, quiet. He's suspicious, quiet. I'm in his car, quiet. Looking at my phone, quiet. The whole fucking time. And then eventually, like, he's just, like, looking at me repeatedly, like, and then he says, are you mad at me because I yelled at you? And then I just go, and I say, no. But either way, I just said something like, what do you think? And then, like, we talked, and, like, he was just glad that I was speaking to him again. And that was one example where I thought, okay, so apparently that got me farther than cursing these niggas out or crying or trying to hold them accountable. Sometimes you just gotta be quiet. They'll come to the conclusion that they fucked up themselves. With my ex, Jared, I had plenty of moments like that. Plenty of moments. Like, a little bit too many to count. But the funniest one is actually one that led to us dating. Let's just say we were at, like, this was, like, before we started officially dating. We were, like, doing phone calls that lasted, like, an hour or 2 hours, and we were planning to meet up, but then out of nowhere, both of our phones stopped working. His phone wasn't sending me, like, he was texting me, but none of my messages were getting received by him. His messages weren't received by me. So we were texting each other, and basically all our messages were just fucking off into the void. So we ended up at the same open mic that we met at, and we were just, like, he was there with his friends, I was sitting where I usually sat, and it was going okay, but then he did some shit over the course of the event that could show that he was kind of trying to be petty and agitate me, while I was still trying to be friendly, because I thought, okay, this guy ghosted me, and I politely just said I wasn't going to meet up with him anymore, because it had been days of him not, like, messaging me back, so I don't know what he's mad about. Whole time in his brain, he's like, Tamia just fucking coldly ghosted me and is ignoring me as if we didn't have a bunch of wonderful, amazing phone calls all fucking week. I'm obsessed with her now. Like, what is she doing? She's being strange. But I was being nice, and I was still acting normally to him, but he was confused, and he has... I hate that I should have taken that as foreshadowing that he is an emotionally immature person to a deeper extent, but whatever, I can't rewind time. At this stage, it was just like a cute thing. I remember specifically, at some point, I walked outside of the open mic because it was wrapping up. And then Jared was going to follow me to hopefully talk to me, but he was upset because he saw me talking to a man and thought, ooh, she's gonna move on. She's probably flirting with him. She's not interested in me. Fuck, I can't talk to her even if I wanted to. One, the dude was openly gay. I'm surprised Jared didn't catch that. Two, he could have just said, oh, excuse me, hey, Tamia, can I talk to you real quick when you have the chance? I would have talked to him. And, like, 100%. If anything, funny enough, that was the reason I walked outside in the first place. I just had a gut feeling he wanted to talk to me. But instead, like, he walks out, he sees me standing there with the obviously gay man, and that he thinks is straight for some reason, and then he just goes, bye, Tamia, hella angrily, and walks out. I text him, like, at that point, he's receiving my text, but ignoring it on purpose. So then it gets kind of funny. Like, everyone in the comedy scene went to 2 mics a night. The first one was the Wolfhound Bar, the second one was the Four Bells, like, open mic, like a place in Berkeley that's a little more bougie. And that place, like, has a much more rowdy audience, like, crowded, noisy, bullshit. So, often some comedians perform there and don't have much luck. I knew that. But I remember I just thought to myself, he's being strange, and I'm about to piss him the fuck off. So I walk into that place, I ignore him, I feel his eyes staring me down, I fucking ignore him. The night goes on, I can tell he's still staring me down, even as he's talking to other people, but he's just really focused, like, why the fuck is she ignoring me? And then next thing you know, like I was sitting directly at the front too. So I was sitting right near the mic where all the comedians were performing, like simply like 6 feet away. So I was doing like banter with the comedians on stage to be a engaged member of the audience. And I don't know, I guess something about, I'm not saying this to gloat, I'm saying this is something I've noticed. If I'm at a comedy event, sometimes the crowd responds better by, like, if I sit in the front row and I'm able to, like, be an easy target for crowd work, the person on stage has an easier time. But then, like, if it's like I'm in the back or something, they usually have a rough time because people can be fucking assholes who don't want crowd work done on them or anything. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes comedians improv really good jokes. I'm just saying that as subtext or like some context to know. Anyway, it became Jared's turn to get on the mic. You want to know what I did? I suddenly shifted my whole body attention away from him and just started staring at the sports screens on the bar. I can't tell what sport was playing to this day. It could have been soccer, could have been football. I saw green grass and blue suits against white suits and people getting tackled vaguely and shuffling feet. And I just pretended I understood what the fuck was going on. Jared got on stage and he noticed. He was like, "What the fuck? I know she doesn't even watch sports. What the fuck is she ignoring me for?" And just like that, it seemed like something shifted in the room. A whole bunch of comedians started like laughing, getting drunk, getting rowdy, not paying attention to who was on the mic. Everyone else in the bar shifted their attention away from him too. It was strange, but flattering. Like, I don't know if I did that or if it was just, but hey, that happened. But it was such like night and day because any performer before then had everyone's attention. He got on stage and suddenly lost it. And I just fully like zoned the fuck out. And I actually have mild clips of his set. Ooh, wait. Sorry, a friend just texted me about a stabbing. Anyway, well, I'm paying attention now. So, that night, like, Jared got on stage, he was performing, and he just at some point he already got nervous on stage, but he floundered like 10 times as hard as he usually would, to the point where he was just like, "Oh my fucking god, no one's paying attention to me. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Oh shit, this is going so bad." And like he had such a massive breakdown on the mic that even I just was like, did I do that? Like, fuck. I felt bad, but a part of me was like, he was being fucking rude at the first mic, and now he's like, I don't know what this nigga's deal is. He ghosted me, but I feel super fucking bad for him now. That was so fucking ridiculous. Anyway, eventually, the very next day, we did find out because I posted on my Instagram like, yeah, this nigga was being super fucking weird. Like I was texting him all week, and then he fucking finally messaged me on Instagram like, wait, what the fuck? You've been messaging me? I've been messaging you. I thought you were ghosting me. And then we talked, and then we made up. But yeah, and then even as we dated, sometimes there were moments, even with our final breakup. What happened was I just fully was like, okay, you know what, like, because he was trying to do the gaslighting shit of, ooh, baby, if you didn't want it, you should have just said no. At first I screamed, I fucking said no. But then I realized no. And then he went, oh my god, here we go again. As if shit was funny. So, this is what I did. Silence. And then the whole car ride, it was a long ass car ride, like fucking traffic too. I think it was like over 45 minutes, over an hour. Anytime he tried to crack a joke or get my attention or see if he could loosen me up, I did not budge a single fucking bit. Didn't give him any sort of hug when I left his car, nothing. He knew he fucked up big time. And sometimes that's just how you gotta treat niggas. That's how you gotta treat people. Even at my recent job, I'm not sure if I mentioned this already, but at my recent job, like, you know, it's a pretty easy gig. Like, it's pretty hard to fuck up. All you do is make sure no one that comes into the building comes into the building. Like, that the bad people stay out and the good people come in. It's also like, yeah, I sit right next to the front door. It has a locking mechanism, and only I can unlock it. I know who gets in and gets out. My eyes are there all evening. This crazy old lady, she storms in from downstairs, and she's just like, do not let anyone into this building that's not supposed to be into this building. And then me, I already wasn't in the greatest of moods, so I just looked at her like, for 6 seconds. And that's all it took to get this lady from like raging mad at me, acting ridiculous, to going, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I came at you incorrect. You're a sweet girl. You're a nice girl. I'm just nervous and paranoid because we got some weird people in the neighborhood, right? It's been weird lately. I'm just scared. And I said, okay, I understand. Don't worry. Like, you're totally valid in feeling that way. I'll make sure that this place is in tip-top shape for you. But it's like, sometimes that's all you need. I don't like yelling with people back, fighting back, none of that shit. None of it. I remember at my old restaurant job, people fucking hated me because I was so good at doing that. You'd be surprised. Holding in your temper can save you. Even with my own mother, like, she would get mad because I would stay calm. But then she even at some point, like, asked me, like, how do you do that? How do you do, like, how do you, even in, like, really tense, frustrating situations, just stay so calm? One, I never think shit is that serious. Like, yeah, even as I got my ass beat recently and the chick was screaming her head off, I just thought, girl, be calm. Be an adult. Be normal. Like, okay, you're in distress. Take some breaths. Communicate normally. At least try. Don't just jump to screaming. Like, and also, this is a tactic I do whenever I feel rage. If you're quiet, like, I also breathe very quietly, so I don't have to do a big show of... I can just go. And then just slowly breathe in for 3 seconds. And then breathe out and hold some air in my lungs. To, like, also lower my heart rate. That's something that I do. I think it lowers my heart rate. It does something to my body that stabilizes me. So that's why even in the face of, like I've had bitches try to fuck me up at work. I've had bitches be evil as fuck in public. Simply put, you look a lot better if you're the calmer person. The person who's screaming and raving mad is always going to look worse because they're the ones making the situation look more dramatic. That's also something that abusive people know. They know, oh, like, even if I mistreat her, like, hey, she's the one crying and acting in hysterics and yelling and screaming. I'm the one who's acting stable. And so when you do that, it pisses people off. Trust me. Like, that's why even on here, I've posted videos where I'm just doing fucking well. Hell, my ex just like last Thursday on a 2 p.m. out of nowhere sent me a huge manifesto describing how much they hated me. And it's like, sir, I haven't done anything to you. I've just kind of been posting cute selfies and going out to events and vibing with friends and going on dates. You should probably get a life. It's been a whole month now. So I guess what I'm saying is, please learn tactics to get calm. And while I'm here, I'll share some. Like I said, if you learn how to breathe quietly, this is something I've done ever since I was young, but if you breathe very quietly through your nose or through your mouth, just take a breath. I have trauma around people saying, just take a deep breath, because I have trauma around that, so I hate when people say that. I don't even fucking like hearing that myself. I'm sorry that I have to say this. But sometimes you don't even have to do that. If you don't like to breathe in, hold your breath. What I do is I hold my breath immediately and just keep the air in my lungs. I'm pretty sure that's not very good for your brain functions to, like, restrain breathing, but it's like, I mean, neither is popping a blood vessel and feeling all the stress about to take over in your body. I know how that feels too. I guess what I can say is, like, some moments, like, the best thing you can do is just leave. If someone disrespects you or insults you, leave. If it's a situation where you can't leave, then stand up for yourself, but do so calmly. That's why I like people like Diane Carroll, or like, if you've ever seen Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the original Aunt Viv, she was very classy. You could tell when she was angry. She would use her words. Even then, she would set people straight. Like, I've done that to people too. I remember I've had to put people in their place several times, but they usually respect me 10 times more. I went on a date with a dude, and he wasn't opening my car door, which I hate. Like, I've had some pretty good men. I've been lucky enough where I've had men in my life do that for me. Not always, but definitely most recently. And as I'm dressing better and more dainty, I'm gonna need the door open for me, fam. You're gonna have to help me. I'm wearing heels and all these rings and stuff. Anything could happen. So, at some point, I try to open the door for myself, but he parked stupidly between, like, a weird area between a car and a fucking lamppost or whatever. I try to open the door. Somehow I fuck up so bad from the angle I was pulling it that I actually almost sprain my wrist, and my dress, like, gets tangled in the door. So despite how a part of me wanted to say, you stupid motherfucker, get my door for me and that shit wouldn't happen. Do you see how injured I am right now? This fucking hurts. What the fuck is wrong with you? You want to act like, you want to neg me. You want to act like I'm not fucking worth it. You know that men are supposed to open doors. Open my fucking door next time. I could say that. Of course. Some moments I have done that. It scares the shit out of niggas. It's night and day. I only do that in the very serious times and very sparsely because I want to keep them like still thinking, ooh, to me is nice. Not too scary. Or scary enough, but they don't have to see the worst just yet. Sometimes it's better to be more like a pot that's slowly boiling that people can see, instead of one that explodes at the slightest inconvenience. People are going to get annoyed at a pot that slowly explodes because then it's like you can't resolve that. That's just something that explodes and is unpredictable and will hurt you. So the best thing you can do is just toss it out, keep it away. But if it's like, ooh, it's a pot that's slowly getting too hot and we see the steam rising and the bubbles flowing, we know to turn down the heat and we do anything we can to resolve it because we still want to save whatever's in the pot or like keep the pot and like enjoy the feast that we're making. You know what I mean? So with him, instead of going off on him, I just said, now I see why people usually open doors for women. It stops things like that from happening. And I said it in that tone, lower tone, with eye contact and a certain judgmental look. And then he didn't like that I was mad, but he did tell me, I like how you handle your anger, because his ex was the type to yell and scream and be dramatic. But since I was calm and rational, he knew, okay, I have very much upset Tamia, and she doesn't need me. She doesn't even really want me like that. So if I fuck up with her again, she's gonna just walk out as if I don't mean shit to her and go on any of her other dates. So instead, he chose, okay, I'm gonna be. So then that's what he did. He, like, opened doors with a smile for me each and every single time. And also, I made sure that anytime we approached a door, I stood there and waited for him to go first. Men don't like going first, it's a lady's first thing. But they open the door, wait for me to go in first, and then they close it after them. And that's the exactly right thing to do. Sometimes the best thing you can do is keep your anger under control. Take some breaths, hold your breath, and just like, yeah, the best thing you can do sometimes is silent. The best way to punish people sometimes is, oh, I guess there's a metaphor I want to bring up. Have you ever watched a horror movie? Like Barbarian, for example. And they don't show you the monster right away. There's like a lot of anxiety moments, like a slow burn. It's kind of like that. You want people to feel horror like building in their system. You don't want to terrify them, but you do want them to feel like an impending sense of doom is on the way unless they resolve the situation. And sometimes, frankly put, if you're like, let's say you do really want to pop off, you don't have to you don't have to smash windows. You ain't gotta set shit on fire. You ain't gotta fight that nigga. Sometimes you can. Sometimes it's fun. But the best thing you can do sometimes is just go, oh, you're leaving me for someone else? Okay, bye. What I used to do to be petty is if a nigga was trying to break up with me, I'd say, thank fucking God, finally. And then I'd block them. They would always be like, wait, what the fuck? Because it's like a fun little Uno reverse. But that was when I was like a young teenager. So just keep that in mind. Like that was how I handled like little chat room relationships. But as for anything serious, like either way, it's just like, yeah, you want to destroy me emotionally? Okay, bye. You don't want me? Okay, bye. And then I would just think to myself, they most likely downgraded. They most likely did not see my worth, and they're not someone I would want anyway, because why would I want someone who's not on my team? They are someone who's not very cool. They're someone who would betray me down the line or has betrayed me. And then you have to just kind of be so secure and loving of yourself that you're just like, this person misbehaved. I don't need to yell, scream, fight, kick. I can communicate like normally, but at the same time, if it's something like, oh, I don't need to tell them I'm sad, they can probably guess that I'm sad. I don't need to tell them I'm mad, they can probably guess that I'm mad. The best thing you can do is just leave and never come back. And funny enough for me, even when niggas swore that they didn't want me, guess what? Like with Jared, like I said, the second I was like, okay, bye, he wanted me so fucking bad and still does to this day with his psychotic ass. Same for Morgan. I remember I told Morgan, hey, if you don't get shit straightened by June, I'm going to see other people. He played in my face. I said, okay. I went on one single Bumble date. He flipped shit so fucking hard. And it was like, okay, who cares? And life went on. But he did try 10 times harder because he knew, okay, to me it's not fucking playing. Like, she's over sending me paragraphs and crying online over me and, like, fucking crashing out and being embarrassing. She's at the point where she's like, you know what? I want to just put on some eyeliner and lip gloss and a cute outfit and go somewhere where a nice, like, fucking hot boy with tattoos is going to pay for a very nice hibachi dinner for me. Because why would I have a breakdown when I could be having steak? Exactly. So, anyway, this is just a nice little rant to remind you, like, especially if you're someone who's AFAB, the best thing you can do when you're feeling angry or pissed or awful is just be like, I'm not saying don't be. You have a right to your anger. I'm just saying sometimes the best thing you can do in disrespect is silence. Because it's like yelling at that lady would have, like that lady at my job who was trying to get in my face, yelling as if I wasn't doing my job correctly when I 100% was. I know that with her, I stared her down because it's like, okay, yelling or sassing her would get me in trouble or just make our dynamic tense. Trying to be like, I do my job very well, thank you. That would have made me seem defensive and like insecure or something, or possibly even seen as shit starting. And then being like, yes, ma'am, absolutely, ma'am, that would have made me like her lapdog or someone she feels like she can step on for a fun time. It's like a certain art that you have to master, but when you master it, it's great. Like, yeah, so like I said, if you watch like Diane Carroll, how she acts in Dynasty, or the original Aunt Viv, that's like those are perfect examples of people who, when they were mad, you don't see them like yelling, breaking plates, texting paragraphs, crying in the corner. You see them being classy, elegant, beautiful, and most of all, when they're angry, they're either silent or they're very blunt and straightforward in their delivery and confident in themselves, but they don't feel the need to like just like let themselves be walked all over. And that's really what it is. Just do not allow yourself to be walked all over. And sometimes if you're about to crash out over someone, especially a man or someone you're dating, the best thing you can do is separate. Because funny enough, I remember last night this guy I've been talking to, like I could tell I was texting him too much. So the second he texted me, I told myself don't text him at all for the rest of the night. He will wake up in the morning and be like, "Holy shit." Tamia, the professional yapper, she hasn't messaged me since fucking 8:30 p.m. last night. And now it's like noon. What the fuck? She hasn't messaged me any sort of message. And then guess what? The second I did, he hit me up like, hey, good morning, I miss you. Also, like, here's this Amazon order. And that's what he's done. That reminds me, I have to remind him to get on that. Thank you.